Welcome back, ladies and gents. We're into pick and ban here for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks Gaming versus Rascal Jesters. This is take two because of technical difficulties, but it matters not because time travel needs work, and we're here on time in the ways that matter. And of course, that means the Hawks on the blue side here will be running the roster. Aramik, Tussle, Dasher, and of course, Honey and Poo, our 100-acre bot lane.
And on the other side, it's Rascal Jester, it's Cogcog, Hatchametcha, Pink, Art, and Nagi. And casters, we're never early nor are we late. We cast precisely when we mean
Precisely.
to. Precisely.
We are precision instruments of casting destruction. Speaking of potential destruction on the Rift, we've got a few bans that will not be causing destruction on the Rift. Namely, the Katarina catches my eye, of course. Deliberately targeted at Pink. We know that this guy is a different beast on that champion.
But we saw him take it all the way to DFM and CGA as well, in fairness. The guy's very good on that champion. Got the Callista first lock in from the Hawks. Was the Aphelios and Varus banned away from Rascal Jester, two of those stronger AD carries, but Callista is still an S tier AD carry with the strongest laning phase of all of them, might I add, as well. So Rascal Jesters will be facing it down from across that seal. They want to face off across that.
I do enjoy the Corky hover there versus Dash, who wrecked Pink with it in the last time, but this time instead it will be the Trundle locked in for Hatchametcha. And I'm seeing a Vayne hover. I am.
Oh, don't go through this again.
I would love to see it. I know it's not going to happen. It would be such a dumb pick, but you know, on a pick that can style like that,
just play
brings
Kaiser
joy
instead.
to my heart.
Kaiser is Space Vayne.
But you could just play Vayne.
But
it's like Moon, the AD carry.
Gosh. What's your League of Legends champion name?
Vayne, no!
Oh no, Vayne's tumble into the enemy team again. Ash has been locked in. We don't have to worry about that.
No, we don't.
Long range, volleys, arrows, artillery alike.
Slows versus Callista as well, which does make it a pretty good lane matchup into the Callista. Of course, you know, Callista's still very strong, but you do have those trading options which can sort of mute some of the Callista's usual power in lane.
Post 6, though. You throw a Fate's Call at Ash, and you have a Galliot coming in on top of it. Potentially, someone like Tussle kicking you back into the team. It's not a safe space for that AD carry. Ash doesn't have the tools to survive a lot of what the Hawks has drafted already.
I would suggest a Thresh lock-in very swiftly, but instead they go towards the Nautilus for a little bit more engage. And in fairness, Depth Charge plus Ash Arrow is a lot of engage.
Sure, you already had some soft engage from the Trundle. You had the hard engage from the Ash. I feel like you probably did need a bit more safety there. However, what this does mean is that the Jesters can potentially ban away support champions. Of course, knowing that Galio can be that support pick as well. And Callista Galio is a
pretty good combo.
It's a very good combo. You can Fate's Call the Galio into melee range. He gets that knockup. He bonks them all ahead with his passive. He has his taunt as well for the extra CC into Z. The Justice Punch. It's like All Might, but
a giant stone statue, yes.
So it's actually not even similar.
Who would be the Deku to Galio? Lux?
I think so. Like, we've got like Set with his haymakers and stuff. Set has been, of course, first banned.
He has.
The Hawks not wanting to let that through. And actually, it's not support bans at all, by the way, coming through. It's mid laners. It's all mid laners.
It's the pseudo control, blind pickable power picks of Azir and LeBlanc banned away from the Jesters. It's the Malzahar that Pink has indexed back into as a point of safety in the mid lane, and it will be Mordekaiser as well, which we know Cog does like to play and is pretty strong in the current meta, especially versus something like a Wukong, which is still open and available, might I add.
So, like, if you're going to say about who's Deku and that, it has to be about the kit, right? So it has to be set with all of his. But
the attitude is just all wrong. No, Set is not a Deku. He's more like a Bakugo.
Yeah, if you had like
he got an explosive fist. He literally fires out pain with his haymaker.
Very true, and he has delivered so much pain on the Rift to a lot of these players, large players of that champion, as Nagi is a big player of the Karma. Could also be flexed towards that mid, though. It probably is going to be, I say that. No, it's probably not going to be a Nautilus mid.
Jesters in fairness.
That being said, yes, could be that. Trying to open up that champion pool. The Hawks going towards Volibear. I'm trying to remember if this is more. This isn't their first Volibear game, as far as I'm aware. I'm trying to remember if Tussle Emmerich played.
I don't think they have. I think this will be the Hawks' first Volibear game. We've been seeing it more and more globally, and of course now we've indexed away from Boku no Hero Academia references for a little while. We can start seeing what the Hawks are drafted, namely a beefy frontline with the Callista carry.
It is, but the amount of damage coming out of their secondary members in the Lee Sin, you know, that single target damage, very high. It's Galio having that full AP burst. If you land the ult on someone as well, that's another ratio to chuck in there. And of course, the Volibear, which does damage. you're going to have to find some very inventive ways to keep yourself safe, because the first target that is chosen will be removed very quickly. So having a Kale ult for that maybe changes things up.
And you're asking for a little bit more safety. It's there. I think if you've now got what would likely be Cog running the Kale in the top lane, would be in my imagination as well.
Karma jungle.
Karma jungle is just awful. Don't do that, guys. Yeah, and I can sort of see actually 2 attack-based carries. Obviously, Kale does tend to go towards, he is an auto-attack-based champion. Having the Karma there for things like the Ardent Sensor, not awful for something like the Kale, actually.
So in our games yesterday, when we were covering them, we saw that it was Burning Core have a Lulu mid, which farmed up to those 2 items, the Ardent Sensor and the Athene's Unholy Grail. That's a 2,100 gold item in the Athene's and a 2,300 gold item in the Ardent Sensor. 2 items at about 2,000 gold earlier than any other mid laner buys. I mean, of course, someone like Galio does build Proto Belt. That's a nice thing. It's pretty cheap. But the 2 items which are built from these supportive carries from the mid lane are very, very cheap. And then if you end up prioritizing that farm towards the Kale, gets that XP as well, towards the Ashe even, getting towards those multiple items, you're right. The auto attacks, the right clickers are going to have a field day. Question is, can you survive side lanes versus this semi-global ult of the Galio and the lane pressure, of course, of the Calista and the Volibear? I don't think Kale has a nice laning phase versus Volibear. I'm going to throw that out there.
I'm also going to put this out that I'm seeing a lot of diving potential from the Hawks here. You turn the towers off at level 6 with Volibear, you throw in a Fate Skull, you throw in a Galio on top, you have Lee Sin come from behind, and like your towers are not safe.
Which leads me back to that question. How do they survive the semi-global and the side lanes? How do they do that?
You have Trundle, you have Nautilus to try and stand as a front line. You have Karma Shields where you can, and you have a Divine Intervention as well where possible. Those level 6 points are going to have to be used very well by the Jesters if they want to survive. But if they can get towards 2-3 items on the Kale and the Ashe, there is room for these team fights to go absolutely in the Jesters' favor, especially as their damage on the Hawks doesn't scale quite as well.
Sky Splitter,
yeah, that was a if you are going to be flying in the sky in a thunderstorm, you've got to be aware of lightning, and Cog is getting an early lesson on that.
It's inclement weather approaching.
Indeed, but we are onto the Rift. Tussle thinking about stepping forward there.
Flight control Kale. Or flight control Corki. We could have like a whole airport line of skins.
I'd be kind of down with that.
And then just have Volibear just grounding all this stuff. Oh, yeah, no, there's a Volibear. We're not flying today. That's good. You can only pick those skins if there's no lightning-based champion. So Cannon, Volibear, nah.
It's genius. I definitely
Good heavens, it's Jana!
Jana, oh man, yeah. I'll be okay with that. You
want to fly in a hurricane?
No, not especially, but I think it'd be an entertaining skin line.
Very true. I'll give you that.
So Jesters saw the ward being put down on their own wards, so that meant that Hachimechi knew to sweep that one up. Art's taken very, very low. That is the Ignite bot. Art survives though and doesn't burn the heal, which is pretty brave, but is still there with the heal. It's still in lane. It's burning that pot, but taken pretty damn low.
Brave is the word. Level 1 trades from Calista are really nasty. I have had many a solo queue game ruined by bot lane, not realizing what Calista does at level 1. I'll guess out with his life, does end up hitting all those minions. He's got pots running. He has burnt that one pot and, of course, is life stealing. But when this hits level 2, we're probably going to see the same thing happen again.
We may well be. Tussle, starting on that top side, has taken Gromp, and Blue will now be running over his red buff to be around for this bot side's pressure. Because you can see where Hachimecha is as well. You see Art throws out the Hawk shot. Is it going to land? Yeah, they can see the red buff being taken if they're paying attention.
Look at all that damage Hawkshot does. How much damage does that thing do?
It's the reason you max the ability, right?
Yeah, max Hawkshot.
Max Hawkshot every time on Ashe.
Runs me back to Avarice Blade Hawkshot max Ashe back in Season 3 and before.
Good lord. Wait, Hachimecha's found his way into the bush, and Tussle's going to walk into it. There's the pillar to prevent a bit of a gank. And that'll be the end of any action on the bot side. Thundering Smash, and Sky Splitter does come down to the Cog, who regrets being face-to-face with a bear. That's another part of thunderstorms people don't tell you about. They're full of bears.
It's like Sharknado, but infinitely worse.
Infinitely worse.
That's a good hook.
Onto a Nautilus who cares significantly less about it. Twitter vote.
But did you see how it went around the minion? But that's the statement. And also does just reduce the cooldown as well. It's poke hook.
Okay, I'm moving on from that statement, which is clearly facetious. And instead we're going to talk about the Twitter vote, which is in favor of the Hawks right here. About a 64% win rate, where the Hawks, of course, got a decent fan base. But Jester's kind of in a bit of an odd space, but the AI bot very much in favor with the Jesters with what the champions they've got, and I can kind of see it. That makes a lot of sense, at least in terms of champion win rates we've seen across the LJL and potentially the world. I'm not quite sure what the stats are drawing from.
That's the thing, right? I'm not entirely sure. I think Nautilus has probably got okay stats. I don't think it's anything stellar. Same with Ash, right? I don't think Ash has got the best stats. I mean, we've seen Gango pull out some craziness from that Utapon too. But we've seen some pretty bad games of it as well. Maybe the Kale is the thing, but
Karma Trundle has got great win rates.
Sure, that's very true. That's very true.
Whereas we've seen slightly less out of Galio and Callista over here being as effective.
I do think in this game, though, I look at that Kale and I'm like, I think you win sidelines versus Volibear. I think he just runs at you. I think that's really bad for you. Maybe you should not do that.
I'd be curious because I've not actually seen all that much Kale Volibear. I understand what you're saying. I suppose as the game gets later and Kale gets a bit more sustained, maybe Volibear runs out of the consistent damage required.
In the very late game stage, yeah, you can do some stuff. But getting ganked already.
Getting ganked. He's under tower, though. He's got the heal from the W. Here comes a teleport. They're going to try and turn it around. That's a slow onto Tussle. He will have safeguard up, but Pink is here. That's the renewal down. The flash doesn't break the tether. Tussle now in trouble, but the flash now burned. It'll be flash for teleport trade at the end of it all.
Flash for teleport, but remember, this is also a wave being lost mid for Pink, so it is extra gold going the way of the Hawks, but it's a fight in the bot lane. I shouldn't talk about that.
And Honey is having to flash out. There's flash, heal, and Art is running and gets first blood in that bot side. Now Pooh's in trouble. Here comes Dasher trying to get something back, but it's a second teleport. Nagi in trouble with his shield, and I don't think Dasher's going to have the damage, and Kogok in with that heal himself, and Dasher taken so low. He goes down to the Kale. Now Aramik is turning around, but he's getting slowed out. Thundering Sash is having to take the Volibear away. It's 2 for none in the bot side for the Jesters. What a mess for the Hawks.
The last time we saw this matchup, this was reversed. We saw the teleports going the way of the Hawks. They were ready to fight, and the Jesters were fighting before they had the tools to win all these confrontations. Rascal Jesters come out. They get a kill onto their Kale, get a kill and assist onto their Ash as well. Let's see how this started off. It looks like it's a Flay coming in, and then the hook lands. It lands onto the Callista. The Ignite goes down. The slow from the E, reducing the attack speed of the Callista, and the Rend was not there to pull those spears out of Nagi. Dasher comes down, has that priority in the mid lane, because, of course, we saw Karma go over towards that top lane with the teleport. Hog has his own to bring to bear. Galio's gone too deep, doesn't have anything after that flash has been used. That's it.
Well, you see the shield comes in from Nautilus, a heal comes in from Art, and there just isn't quite the burst damage for Galio this early on. That was a little sad, and it puts the Jesters up to about a 400, 500 gold lead here at about 6 minutes into the game.
So it's not necessarily about the total team gold lead. It's about Ash being ahead in the game.
Yeah.
Ash from ahead is very different from Ash being behind. And of course, that Callista dying in lane. Callista having to burn both summoners and still dying, but it doesn't matter. They still want to fight.
Art's in trouble. Hasn't got a flash, hasn't got a heal. It's just going to be taken out here. You assume Honey gets that cook, will get that kill. Now there's a knock up as well from the Flay, and it's a double for the Callista. Turn right back around. A little bit of overconfidence from the Jesters in the bot side.
And whatever notes I just wrote down about Callista being behind can suddenly be very scrapped. 2 kills over to Honey. Going too aggressive in the 2v2. It's all on the back of Pooh on his Thresh. We have sometimes criticized his aggressive play, but his Thresh has been spectacular in the last week, and it is showing up this game as well, netting 2 kills for his AD carry, turning the flow of the game.
All right, let's see that one more time. Where does Pooh land this from? He just walks up and for the flash.
He walks up menacingly, lands a Flay, and Art has no flash, has no ability to turn around because the minions are there, means that the turnaround hook cannot be landed onto Honey. The first hero's entrance coming out very soon as well, and with that Flay locking up the Nautilus, it's a good kill for the Callista as well.
It absolutely is. Walk into the bush, flash out for the Flay. Well played by Pooh there. Does bring that lane back into a bit of parity. It is going to be the Bilgewater Cutlass to the Cull as well, so definitely going to still be a bit of risk down there.
Double cull for Rascal Jester on Art and Kogok. And Kogok has actually been a player which I've been relatively impressed with over this split. He's had some good laning phases, some good 1v1s in fact. I'm trying to remember if he has any solo kills to his name, but his team fighting's been relatively okay.
The Ornn's been pretty spectacular.
The Ornn, he's one of the better LJL Ornns. Not that the LJL has the best Ornn players in the league, but we'll see what's happening because Ornn is a top lane champion, not in this game. Gonna be a Herald fight.
Tussle hopping away, doesn't want to deal with the level 6 Trundle, and of course the Kale, who has ascended for the first time here. up at that level 7 point is
Hooray!
pretty big news, with a kill to her name as well. And, staying relatively even in CS with this Volibear right now, which is good news for the Jesters on that top side. Bot side, though, looking a little bit scary. Of course, they know where the jungler is, so Art's having to be a little bit wary. They lose 2 plates down in this bot side.
This is the thing. Fate's Call is available for the Callista, and it's not the Enchanted. Well, of course, it's not available if the Ashe doesn't have that ability. The Enchanted,
no ultimate, sure.
the ult is not available from Ashe, so she has to back away from the turret. Loses a wave to tower. That's XP. That's gold. It means that when you lose 2 plates in bot lane, as we just saw, and you lose a wave to turret, that Herald has basically been nullified. The gold you would get from it, and even the XP that you might deny from the enemy top laner or whatever lane you want to attack with that, it's not going to match up. You have to now use the Herald well, otherwise you're at this deficit.
Yes. I mean, it helps that at least Art can stick around relatively within XP range, so that's something for the Jesters, and they didn't rotate their bot lane up, but the point stands, right, that there was gold lost, the plates were gained, so the Hawks are feeling pretty happy with this trade.
They are, because they have CS leads in every lane, they have a lot of tools to use, and they now have these spikes earlier into the game than the Jesters. You don't have your Athenes onto the Karma yet. The first item spike is going to come in for the Hawks, and they immediately want to take a team fight because they don't want the Kale to be involved in too much too early. And as we can see, it's a bit of fiesta right now. Hachimetra is trying to spot out where the next play would be, though. He thinks it's going to be bot lane.
You can see the Azure panning over to the Lee Sin as well, though, so it's likely to be a 3 versus 3. Tussel's going to be on vision now. They know that this is going to be an attempted play. Hachimetra in the bush. Maybe looking to turn this around. Who has now spotted Hachimetra with the ward into the bush.
So now seeing Hachimetra on the bot side of the map, you know that there's no response with the Herald somewhere else, because of course if Tussle had walked into the bot lane and goes for a play, you know that potentially a Herald could come out elsewhere. Not the case though.
Not the case, indeed. And Cog happily farming away in this top side. Aramek takes a cue to the face and regrets his life for a moment.
Maybe. He's fine.
He'll be fine.
He's just doing top lane things.
Just doing top lanes.
You just have to take that farm, take the bare necessities in top lane.
Yeah. It's the prickly pear.
Yes.
I can't remember what the whole sentence is, but
Baloo,
but someone out there who knows the words and wisdom of Baloo better than I do.
We need like a storybook Volibear skin.
Yeah, but we got the papercraft ones. I'd be down for those kind of like storycraft skins. That'd be really cool.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
It would be really cute.
What's also cool is Herald and top lane.
It is really cool, and that's going to be a plate down. So that'll be at least 3 plates overall up here, which is not bad news. And it's great giving it over to your Kale, who will be very happy for that influx of gold.
Hachimetra does pick up that 160 gold from that other plate too. So shared between Cog and Hachimetra. Tussle though coming up top side. I think Cog's going to get away. Yeah, he has his W, has the fleet footwork as well. That's worth knowing.
Yeah, of course it is.
Fleet footwork and having your W means you have a lot of good retreat or chase stab potential from that kind of secondary movement speed you get from all of the things tacked onto your kit.
Yes, the movement speed is always lovely to be keeping your eyes onto. Can see what will be the sort of the starts of a gunblade at some point for that's a great hook onto Art, who's flashing out, who's got the heal. Here comes the teleport though, and it is all too late. They're gonna try and get to Nagi as well. Poo is playing like a monster thus far, but he takes a lot of damage, and that is a depth charge out there. We're going to try and catch him under tower, perhaps. But now Pink's in trouble in the mid lane. Tussle's here as well, but wait, Hachimetra's coming out from behind. They're going to try and turn this around. The renewal comes out. There is now this Lee Sin in a bit of bother, but has got, of course, that safeguard to get himself out to safety.
I love how you say, oh bother, when there's Poo in the bot lane. There's a Volibear in the game. It's not either of them, it's Tussle who says, oh bother.
Yeah, indeed.
We just need bear champions for the entirety of the Hawks. I'd be okay with that. Wait, we finally have the 100-acre Hawks.
Yes, the 100-acre Hawks. They've got a Poo there at the top side, along with Honey and, of course, actual Poo at that bot saying, which actually feels way more rude than, out of context. I promise that's a term of endearment regarding Winnie the Pooh, and not a comment on excrement there.
Good. Nice. Good job, dude. I wasn't actually thinking that out, so I was like, oh, cool.
I know, but the concept,
storybook.
But I said actual Poo, and I realized that could be very rude.
I had missed that, and now I regret my decisions quite.
Oh, dear.
Tussle, gonna counter jungle. That's more relevant than anything you just said right now.
Yeah.
Cool. Yes.
Well, Art took another hook to the face, which is a little bit sad. We said there was some kills going on, but it did leave Cog alone up in the top side to pick up more gold and more plates, which is something for the Jesters. And I'm aware of the Hawks indexing to the bot side. It makes sense, but it's leaving Cog on an island.
It is, but Cog just picked up those plates, as you were saying. And the gold is nice. the culls are going to stack in the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You know, it's going to be an extra 4 waves for Kale, an extra 3 for Artless. One of them's a cannon wave. Then just be an extra 2 there if he's perfectly CSing, of course. That extra gold can potentially allow Rascal Jesters to fight around the next couple of objectives. Probably not the Herald, though. That's spawning in the next minute. You're going to have to wait for resets, and the cull, of course, isn't popped for the Ashe, so isn't able to complete that Blade of the Ruined King. Means that the item advantages are over to the Hawks.
They definitely are.
Yeah.
And speaking of said item advantages, cast your eyes across the Hawks' inventory, namely Warrior in for Lee Sin, Proto Belt for Galio, and there is indeed a gank coming up there, and that will be the way to cast your eyes. But of course, that Kale is a bit speedy with, of course, the Celestial Blessing to keep her going. And cast your eyes back instead to Honey, hopping forward onto Cogbot. What may have gone a bit deep. That Ash Arrow just goes wide. There is a Lantern, but they're going in with the Nautilus. It was all set up. Golden goes Nagi, but Teleport's now being burned. It'll be multiple ones coming. I think one was cancelled, though, and that's going to be problematic. And Honey gets the Rend kill onto the Nautilus.
Yeah, it looks like Volibear ended up flashing for a stun onto Pink, meaning the Karma couldn't get there. Adamek himself didn't have that TP, so he artificially evened up that teleport advantage, but Tussel's still going for a fight.
Yes, here comes the hero's entrance, but it's a second teleport now coming in, and Tussel's gone very deep. He's got a pillar that's holding him off the taunt there to try and make sure people stay safe. Kale is around, looking to try and keep people safe, but that will just be the end of the dive, and instead the Hawks will move over to this Rift Herald.
Of course, you ask yourself whenever these big fights happening, what are the teams fighting over? Sometimes you've reached the answer, not a lot. I think very neatly sidestepping of blind skill shots there.
Calculate.
The Hawks will win themselves a Herald off the back of that fight. Having the Rend secure as well means that second Herald of the game will not go over to the Jesters. It will be going over to the Hawks.
Indeed, it will be, and we can sort of see Tussle with that Rift Herald and inventory looking towards this top side, looking to try and get onto this Kale, who is not far away from the level 11 at this point, which would be a fairly big spike in power.
That's pretty nice, yeah.
She's not quite there yet, and the Herald is now coming down. They're starting to stack up those spears. That's half the HP bar. There is, of course, still the Celestial Blessing that's topping her health back up, but it's not going to be all that much. We're going to see the Herald charge, but it's swiftly taken out by the Jester. They don't get all that much as Ascension Mark II comes through for this Kale. Range damage definitely beginning to increase for this champion.
Well, and the wave clear, importantly, too. You can see those AoE waves coming through, and the E is now that explosion burst as well. Level 6 is ranged Kale. Level 11 is wave clear Kale. Level 16 is the Ender of Worlds. No Aatrox involved.
Yes, and Jesters start to try and put some pressure on this bot, so but Aramek is there to clear out the wave, and that Volibear is pretty damn tanky at level 11.
AI, once again, shifting its mind.
Definitely is.
Chosen the Hawks at this particular venture, and it will be, with a 2,000 gold lead, relatively in their advantage.
Top side, we could see Callista kind of indexing into that advantage. First turret comes out there as well, which is good news. Dasher throws out the taunt as he sees Hatchimachi come into the river.
It's like the emote game, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, I could use actual emotes, but I figure this one is even more distressing because I'm using mana and cooldowns for it.
BM by you. It's like using your ultimate, not to do anything, just to BM.
Yeah, pretty much.
I did that the other day on Evelyn. I felt really sad.
That's not BM then. That's just
it's how I BM'd myself.
So BM is. I
BM'd myself.
So bad manners is whereas that's just B. Bad. It's bad.
Yes, but that's just my play at League of Legends in general, buddy. So my fingers don't work the way I want them to.
We're not going to see you on the LJL stage anytime soon. Well, maybe
maybe
in a different role.
Look, I'll show Boogie how Evelyn really works, because clearly he should be picking it in the LJL, hasn't as yet, and that's problematic. And you'll see why when I play it on stage. Second turret does go over to the Hawks in this bot side, but
Dead Dragon available. It is a Cloud Rift. You know, we just haven't talked about that.
Cloud
Rift is a thing. We haven't had a chance. Everyone's been fighting everywhere. We've been talking about story-themed skins and Sam being bad at League of Legends.
Yes, it's important conversation.
Tussle potentially could get caught out here. He sees that the Gromp is down, knows that is not available. He does have a flank position, good for a kick, but he could get caught out.
He is going to get caught out, but has in fact got a Lantern to escape if he should so wish, but instead ward hopped away. The Jesters are feeling content to start fighting. There is items in for most of their carries. Now, it's Gunblade for Kale critically. It is 2 items for Karma. It is Blade of the Ruined King for Ashe. They're ready to go. But then again, so are the Hawks right now.
There's a teleport for Volibear, and having the Black Cleaver means he's buffing up his Kalista and his Lee Sin quite a large amount at this point in the game. This is going to be a big fight.
Pink's in behind. They're going to try and get onto Dasher and break up that flank. That's a decent taunt, but the damage down onto that guy is massive. Hachimetra is gone. It's a big income from the Stormbringer of the Volibear, but he doesn't get all that much from it. Now the turnaround is here. Kale flashing in with the shields is doing so much damn work. Art in the backside as well has gone golden. It's going to prevent the spears from coming out. It's going to prevent the rend reset. That's huge. Now Honey's trying to run away, but he gets detonated by the Starfire Spellblade. Shut down for Cogcog.
Cogcog comes in huge with his 1-item power spike. We thought that the items were going the way of the Hawks. Turns out it doesn't matter when Kale gets up to that fully stacked passive, gets wailing on the enemy team. I want to see the damage in the last team fight. Must be monumental from the Kale.
Oh yeah, and it turns out Kale, when she's got two support item Karma here to help, can do this kind of thing.
And as much as a lot of the team of Rascal Jester scales later into the game, it is that Karma which bridges you over to that point. Dasher doesn't find an ult into the team fight, decides to walk in the back way, gets absolutely deleted. Pink manages to reset the fight in his own accord, and Tussle doesn't find a crucial kick onto either of these carries. Honey is left trying to assassinate Art in his backline, but Hachimetra comes to the rescue, and that's a very timely stopwatch to stop the rend.
And then this Lantern, it was like, try and get him out. But no, there is an explosive Kale E that comes in and claims the life of that carry. Check in with the gold lead at this point. It's back to only about a 400 gold lead for the Hawks after that fight went very wrong for them. And I'm looking at this Kale at 301.
That's nasty.
On the way to a Nash's Tooth. Not so far away, only needs the combined cost at this point. Potentially a very scary place to be. Pink might walk into a Lee Sin there, which would also be a scary place to be, but a smart ward will save the life of the mid laner.
So Pink managing to get away with his brazen attitude, taking Krugs from his own jungle, of course, not a counter jungle, but running into the top duo and not really caring for it.
No, definitely not. We can see as well that there is this second item for the Kalista. That is the Hurricane. Wasn't there for the last fight, though, critically, which may have been a big difference maker, getting more of those arrows down. Hachimetra doesn't walk into the attempted bait here, but now 3 members of the Jesters are here to maybe prevent anything more. There is a dive potential. We've talked about it from the Hawks, but they're not looking for it right now, having been spotted out in that bush.
No, not quite yet. With Cogcog on the other side with teleport advantage, might end up turning worse for wear. Aramik trying to look into the sideline.
Takes a lot of damage trying to get it. Here comes the ult from Aramik, but it'll be an ult in return from Cogcog. Here comes the Kalista, though, with that Thresh, and it will be a shutdown on to Kalista, who picks that kill up.
I was kind of worried about Kale on the sideline. It didn't take the Galio ult this time. It was just Anomik starting the fight with 1 or 2 people roaming. It will be at the cost of the Hawks' outer turret, but it does give the shutdown course over to that Kalista. 2-item spike already. Going to get even further ahead in this game. Already at a 1.5k lead over Art.
That is a big deal, but then it's about a 2,000 gold lead for the Kale over the Volibear. So that's kind of the index of power that's shifting around on the various sides of the map.
So if Cogcog goes untouched in a fight, he carries it. But he's not a tank champion, which becomes hard to kill later in the game. He's always going to have damage. Hooks are landing, taunts are landing.
Arrows are coming out as well, but that's going to be a dead Nautus before anything else. Here come the teleports, though. The Jesters want to turn this around. Hawks trying to retreat, but that is a very fast Kale getting the slows down. That's a Gunblade Tussle, desperately trying to run out, but can't quite escape Kumpu. And he now falls, and of course, Pink and the rest of the squad's dashing forward. Dasher himself can't dash fast enough, and Honey falls as well. That's a double onto Art. 3 people dead off an attempted mid-push, and a pick, and that will be Baron starting here for the Jesters. Tussle needs to find something or they're going to lose it.
I was hearing the ride of the Valkyries in the background there. Cogcog storming through that team fight. Teleports in, cleans things up, ends full HP. It's going to net his team a Baron.
Definitely will, and that's just so much damage at this point of the game as well. It's just gone, and the Jesters now seize control of this game. They get a gold lead as well now, and we're going to see a replay to see how it all happened.
So Honey's trying to go for a big trade on the turret. The hook lands, Aftershock lands, but then the turnaround is really big under the turret. The box is down for decent disengage, but the rundown potential, particularly when you've got those slows coming in from the Gunblade and the Q of Kale, is just more than enough to split up the team. And of course, Volibear's not there to even up the fight. That teleport advantage over to the side of Rascal Jester coming up pretty huge there.
Well, Kale cast her judgment and found the Hawks unworthy in that fight. 3-1 and 4.
Found them wanting.
Found wanting indeed. writing on the wall, one might say a little bit there. Judged and found wanting, so to speak. That was a reference I wasn't expecting to make today, but here we go. So Kale has got herself up to that second item. Now is looking towards a Rage Blade there. We're looking at 2 items for Art as well, who's found his way into the game a little bit more now. Hook does miss. But the Hawks want to fight around this Cloud Drake, perhaps it will be coming up in 30 seconds. But before all that, they've got to be a bit aware that with the Baron, the Jesters have an easier time of pushing they have in the past.
They do, and with the Nash's Tooth on Kale, because that second item, alongside the extra recurve bow as well, this Kale is going to be mastering these side lanes so very, very quickly. So you need to have contingencies in place to try and shut down, because Cog very nearly at that level 16 mark. It's like the level 16 casting, that ticking time bomb, which ends up being that late game menace. He walks forward looking for a bit of damage, supported by those Karma shields. Very, very scary.
May not be Christmas, but I'm certainly hearing Sing Choir of Angels going on in my head right now. And you don't even need a choir, you just need the one angel right now. The Hawks are looking to take the wings off Cog, though. They're going to come in and try to drive this down to about half. Sephiroth aside, we're going to see a little bit of contesting around this Drake. Down about half HP. Here comes the arrow tussle, taken very, very low, but isn't going to come out. It will be Dasher burning the hero's entrance in response to Aramik using the Righteous Glory to try and escape. Dragon still around half HP. Did reset a little bit, but Hachimecha will get the secure. Here comes the engaged Aramik in the backside, but Cog has a divine intervention on his head, which keeps him alive for now. Dasher trying to go in, trying to dash out, but does go down to R. It's a kill for Cog as well, and once again, the Jesters come away with the fight. Flash out from Boo, but the slows are starting to come through from this Ashe, who's getting sped up by Celestial Blessings, but that's so much damage from Starfire Spellblades, and no one is dead from the Jesters. They get the clean ace.
Karma's a fun champion. He probably saved his entire team 3 times there, each with the ult shield. Pink finding some massive value on this mid laner, and it is Cog once again who is putting out the lion's share of the damage. Multi-man E's, multi-man Q's. The Hawks seemed like they had a good brawl going on there, but at this point in the game, Rascal Jester has come out on top.
Well, it's a Sunday morning, and Cog is looking to take the Hawks to church. Here comes the inhibitor going down, and it's not quite done yet. Still a chance, perhaps, for the Hawks to try and find something back into this game, but they have got to find cleaner engages than that.
I thought this was about as good as it could go for them, if I'm being honest. So Hachimecha's here. Let's have a look. So they're all grouped up in this 1 point. Sky Splitter's landing, and the ult doesn't really find much from Art. However, it does end up burning. We might have ourselves a really good fight. It just didn't end up working out that way.
Sadly, no. We have got a little bit of a freeze here, so we're just going to wait a second to see what's going on. But we're back in with the replay. That's all fine on our end now. We're going to see the end of this fight where people get so damn low.
Sure.
But Karma shields are a disgusting thing.
It reminds me of playoffs, Rascal Jester, when they were playing the Karma top.
Mother of, that is a lot of damage from an Ashe and a Kale.
It is, but then you look at the Calista, and that's what happens with multi-man Rend and stuff like that.
Yes.
That's why I was thinking, hey, with all this AoE team fighting, with the CC and the slows not landing on the Calista, maybe we could see something happening here. Didn't end up working out that way. Rascal Jester get themselves their second Cloud Dragon as well. Extra cooldown reduction, very important for the likes of the Karma, who uses it on cooldowns so a lot. And Rascal Jester is very much in the driver's seat of this game.
Yes, they are. They've also got that third item spike for Kale, which is massive. And keep your eyes up. There it is again. That AI vote oscillating back in favor of the Jesters. Kale is inches away from level 16 as well. At which point, you've got to be praying for a miracle, because otherwise the Rapture in the form of Cog is about to level your team fights one more time.
If you engage onto Rascal Jesters when they have the level 16 Kale, and you don't catch the Kale, the fight's over. He auto-attacks you like 3 times, gets a Gunblade in there as well, and someone's dead. That's it. That's team fight over at that point, because you do need the majority of your people putting out optimal damage to take down the group team of Rascal Jester before the next Karma Shield comes in, before the next wave of CC comes in as well. The Hawks are fighting a very uphill battle. This is almost cliff climbing at this point.
It is. Yeah, and you got to hope they've got climbing equipment, right? That's kind of what they've got to hope. They've got ways to engage, right? If they can get the volley bait into the Galio, that's a lot of CC, and Kale...
And Lee Sin can do the same thing.
Yeah, and Kale scales damage. He doesn't scale health, and you can blow a Kale up if you catch it, and there are ways to do that. You know, Fate's Call, volley bait, Galio, there are these options. With QSS now Mercurial Scimitar on the Callista as well, Honey gets to free fire for a lot of this fight, potentially with that kind of additional safety of the QSS.
But the problem is, I mean, if Trundle gets on top of the Callista, attack speed slows because of the Frozen Heart from the Trundle. I think that is a very good build from Hatchmentia. Gives him that extra CDR as well. If a pillar lands onto Callista, her DPS drops to near enough 0. He's going to have to fight his way out, though.
Hook onto Hatchimecha, taken super low and just blown up. He was a bit deep trying to find a flank, and that will now be a 5v4 at the Baron. Maybe this is the entry back into the game the Hawks needed. But Pink, round the back, super fast, looking to find some pokes with those soul flares.
A lot of Ren stacks.
There are a lot of Ren stacks, and that is a difficulty. And the Jesters just say, yeah, no, we are not going to fight this. We don't think we can do it. And instead, what we will do is potentially look to get ourselves set up around this dragon and make sure our waves are pushed so the Hawks can't get all that much off the Baron they earned by getting Hatchimecha.
This does stall out the game a bit, but however, when you're playing as a late game team like Rascal Jester, they still don't feel at threat there. And so we have a 3-minute Baron timer. We have 20 seconds on the third Cloud Dragon. See if the Hawks can pick that up for themselves. Of course, Cloud Soul, not the most important of those late game objectives, but still something to fight around. Tossel going to poke his head into the enemy jungle. Not find anything.
Cast your eyes to the top right-hand corner of the screen. Cast your eyes to the minimap and behold the number that is by Kale's face. Namely, that level 16 mark. We are seeing Judgment descended. It is here. This Cog at 517 at level 16 can definitely destroy the Hawks. They've got Baron, and they've got options right now, but they have still got to be very afraid, and Tussle has to flash away from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. The Hawks on the other side of the map, though, are using Callista to secure the dragon.
The engages fluff from Rascal Jester, but the Ren does not actually finish off there. Hatchimecha running down with the Carbon Shells, looking for a pillar. See if it lands. It's a flash
get it onto Pooh. He's going to have to flash out as well. There's a taunt onto the Trundle, and they do manage to disengage.
They do somehow, but then remember, he's got so much CDR. The next one's going to be up very quickly.
Justice Punch hit the wall, actually. I was a bit worried that for Dash, they're still trying to go out. There is the pillar, and they're still chasing. They're still looking for it. That's a volley over the top. That's a Sky Spinner back from Aramik, trying to find something, but it's big slows from the Kale, from the Ash, trying to get something. Fate's Call saves Pooh and brings him out to safety, and the Jesters are just going to shove in this bot side against the Baron. So much damage and wave clear have the Jesters got.
It's not like the Hawks are playing in multiple lanes right now as well. There's no threat on the rest of the Rascal Jesters, and you can see what happens when you have a 40% CDR Trundle getting towards these later levels. If he does have the ability to run at you, he can keep putting down those pillars, keep putting down that frozen domain for his own move speed, and he can run you down and set up for his team. He's got that soft engage potential.
Minute left on Baron, and what it feels like I said has bought the Hawks time. It's not bought them too much more. They will have Cloud Soul as an option, but it's not like it's Ocean Soul or Infernal Soul, even a Mountain Soul, which would be pretty good with the beefy frontliners that they have. And Cloud Soul's not the same win condition that those other Drakes are.
It has bought a number of healing reduction items for the Hawks. We see that the Execution is calling, is in for the Callista, and the Morellonomicon completed for Dasher. Dasher not having the best game on the Galio. He's been struggling to make a lot of impact across the map. And we're going to have to see, Hook misses, whether Hawks can try and find any inroads in this game, so you can get themselves another isolated pick.
Flank. You can try and find something over the wall. Perhaps the Jester is still holding on to this mid lane tier 1. They find an arrow. They find the dredge line. Now Pooh's in a bit of bother. Oh dear, here comes the re-engage. Art healing up so much, even with the healing reduction, stays alive and takes up Aramik. Divine Judgment comes down, and they've got a double onto the Ash already. Looking for more, looking for the whole game. They've got 3. They're looking for the 4th and 5th, and there is just nothing left. That is a hero's entrance, but it's more like a lament, and instead it will be the requiem between Art and, of course, the healing from Karma, and once finally dead Kale that makes no damn difference. The Jester are going to storm into the base.
And what did it cost you to kill the Kale? It's going to cost them everything. It's going to cost them their sole position in their standings, as Rascal Jester will tie them up, take down the Nexus, and move up to 2 and 5.
Rascal Jesters, 2 substitutes in, be damned. They bring down the Hawks on the back of a monumental Kale performance and some late game Ash damage.
So, with all things said and done, we're going to take some time to compose ourselves, write down some thoughts, and come back to you with post-game analysis. Stick around.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the LJL officially unofficial coverage of the LJL 2020 Summer Split. We just watched the Rascal Jesters become victorious, and our play-by-play caster getting the correct prediction in the pre-game. Congratulations to you, Initialized. Gentlemen, I think let's start where the action started, and in this bot lane duo, Rascal Jester, Artanagi won the first in fight, then they lost the second one to a Flay Flash, and then kind of everybody ended up being in that Fiesta a bunch at one point. Everybody came down at one point. Everybody. So much action around the bot lane. Care to explain why, maybe?
Starters, you mean to go on? You draft a Callista, you know you're going to be fighting a lot early, so does Thresh and Nautilus. Level 1, there is an Ignite Burn. Health bars are raised to the ground, but not quite enough. Doesn't force out the Ashe or the Nautilus. Then, of course, we see that 2v2. And this 2v2 can go a number of ways, but I was particularly impressed by Pooh on the Thresh, walking up and really punishing Art's Ashe at different points during this game, and forcing him away from tower, reducing that XP, reducing the gold income he has. Wasn't the same story on the rest of the map, but the 2v2 was very interesting to watch.
Yeah, 2v2 was definitely fun. A lot of action happening there. Constant teleportations, team fights, just everything around these bot lanes. Let's take it to the opposite side of the map this time, though. And Initialize, Cog and Aramik had some pretty choice words for each other. And choice words meaning thunder coming from the sky and a guardian angel sort of thing going on. Not quite sure for the Jesters.
There was definitely a little bit of clashing of divinities up in that top side for sure. And while the Hawks, probably rightly so, indexed into getting their Callista ahead in the early game, Cog got to teleport bot early on, pick up a kill, get back to top lane, only end up at a 10 CS deficit despite tussling around a little bit. The Volibear being able to run at the KO before she gets the ranged options. And she got to scale pretty much for free. Turned up in one fight, picked up another couple kills, and then is 3-0-1 with a Gunblade and on her way to an Ashes Tooth. And suddenly with a level 11 KO, with those items, with those kills, things look so much dicier despite the Callista getting that early lead.
Yeah, I mean, the whole of the Hawks got a vague early lead. They had the early objectives. They got, outside of one Rift Herald that Hachimecha got, they got the first 2 dragons. They got the first turret in top lane through Aramik. It was going pretty well. Problem was, on the 3rd dragon, the Hawks got 3 for 2'd by Cog's Divine Justice reigning supreme and denying that. And a lot of these fights afterwards just kept going the way of the Jesters, regardless of what they did. Nightmare, why was that just always happening?
Karma.
Interesting.
Karma is a champion. Karma during mid-game, and Sam was talking about it in draft. We picked it up as a narrative going through the game as well. Auto-attack champions buffed up by a very too early item Karma, because they're just so cheap items, can just run rampant. And the extra move speed twins up with the extra slows and stuff coming in from stuff like the Karma Qs and the Trundle Pillars and stuff like that, meant that Cog had so much space to run people down, could stutter step effectively with the W as well, just running forward with the move speed, auto-attacking time and time again, wasn't touched in the team fight, got to clear them up.
Got to clear them up, and multiple times if a Karma's able to be picked, we see them be picked. This is why you ban them on both sides, gentlemen. And
we've seen it as banned. We've seen it as blue side banned, Karma. Yeah. It's that strong right now.
Yeah.
Yes. So the idea that it got through the draft was a surprising fact in my eyes. But, I mean, it worked beautifully for the Jesters, and I don't think Pink will be complaining with that pickup.
No.
Gentlemen, the Rascal Jesters were able to pick up that Baron fight and just promptly ace the rest of the Hawks. They did 2 aces this game. The first one was around that second huge dragon fight where they already had Baron, and it was looking a bit dicey for the Hawks. And then the second one where, well, it wasn't even around a dragon. They just fought for the sake of fighting. The Hawks actually just lost their Baron buff, and wasn't great, was it?
That's called the Burning Core versus CGA.
I think it was it. There was. I think to the Hawks' defense, and they were in a dire spot at that point. They'd let it get to late game. They'd let the gold lead slip away, and you were facing down a hell of a front line with a number of items on a support Karma with a death cap at that point to back up her shields, with 2 insane carries in the Ashe in the late game Kayle at that point. Like, what you need to find a fight or you're done at that point, because you can't win the side lanes and the team fights are already looking pretty dicey.
In defense, is it defense of the Dark Arts? Who's dying next?
Somebody's gotta die, unless you're trying to play a game where nobody dies, and then it's just awkward poising and moving up and taking a tower and then walking backwards. It's like 3D chess at that point.
It's like Zillion, Tryndamere, Echo, everyone with reset.
God, that sounds horrible.
Throw a Kindred in there, why don't you?
Well, with Rascal Jesters picking up this win over the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks Gaming, we're now going to be seeing them facing off in their next game versus V3 Esports. I can guarantee that's going to be a match full of fire and expectations to be met as well for the side of one of these teams, as they are doing rather well in the league, but we'll get far more into all of that in only a moment, as we're going to go on a short break, but join us in a moment for the Rascal Jesters facing off against V3 Esports.